Hello, English learners. Welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
And today we're bringing you the 8th part of our dramatic, romantic love story, I'm Sorry, I Love You.
That's right. We're coming close to the end of this story, aren't we?
Yeah, we're coming close to the end and we still have a lot of interesting things going on. So I wonder what's going to happen.
Well, I can tell you that today's lesson involves this word, which we'll hear in Vocabulary Preview.
Vocabulary Preview.
So today we're just going to look at this one word, spy.
A spy.
A spy.
Spy.
All right, so we probably know famous spies like James Bond.
Or Austin Powers.
Right. So basically it's a person who is secretly trying to get information.
About a government or maybe a business.
Right. So that's a spy.
Now the verb, to spy.
Same thing, right? Mm-hmm. To spy on someone, to spy on a company.
Yep. So why are we talking spies and spying here on English Pod? Why don't we find out by listening to our dialogue?
Veronica, are you okay?
Steven, what's going on? Who were those guys? I didn't know you have a gun. What's going on?
I will come clean as soon as we get to safety, okay? For now, you have to trust me. Please, I would never do anything to hurt you.
Steven,
Okay, run! I haven't been completely honest with you, Veronica. I'm sorry. I'm not a fireman. I'm not even from the United States. I'm a spy for the Indian government.
What? Why didn't you tell me before? What are you doing here?
When I was a young boy, I used to play cricket with my father back in my hometown of Hyderabad. It was a peaceful town, and my father was a renowned chemist. One day, he was approached by members of the CIA, claiming that my father had made the discovery of the millennium in his small lab back at the university, where he taught biochemistry. I never saw him again. I vowed to discover the whereabouts of my father, and consequently joined the Indian Intelligence Bureau.
What does that have to do with those men shooting at us? And most importantly, why did you lie to me?
I'm sorry. I wasn't supposed to meet you. I wasn't supposed to fall in love with you. But you have to believe me when I tell you that what I feel for you is real.
I can't believe this. Why are all these things happening to me? I can't take it anymore. Let me out of the car.
Veronica, wait!
All right, so Steven is not even American. He's an Indian spy.
He's not even a firefighter.
Well, there you go. See,
oh my God.
Many surprises on this love story.
It gets deeper and deeper.
Well, why don't we take a look at some of the vocabulary that was used in this great story in Language Takeaway.
Language Takeaway.
Well, here we've got a lot of language that you can use when you need to be honest about something. We're going to look at 6 phrases here. Now, the first one, Steven says he needs to come clean.
Come clean.
Come clean.
Right, so basically he needs to tell the truth.
He needs to confess.
Confess, right?
About something that he maybe wasn't truthful about in the past.
Yeah, maybe he had a secret or maybe he lied about something.
Yep.
So now he's coming clean. Mm-hmm. Very good.
So he comes clean and he tells the story about his childhood and he says his father was a renowned chemist.
Renowned.
Renowned.
Okay, so if you are a renowned chemist,
you're very famous and well respected.
So you can use that with people or with places.
A renowned restaurant.
Okay, so very popular, very well known.
Yeah. We also hear it's commonly like this, a world renowned chemist, a world renowned restaurant.
So it's not only popular locally, but the whole world knows about it. Very good.
All right, and so he continues with his story, and he says he was approached by members of the CIA.
Approached.
to be approached by.
Okay, so if I am approached by somebody from the CIA, what does that mean?
Well, they come to talk to you about something really important.
Okay, so the verb to approach someone can mean get close to.
Right, to walk up to them or something like that.
Right, but it also carries this meaning of coming to talk to you about something.
Something important.
Something very important.
Yep.
So for example, I can say, my boss approached me this morning to talk about an important pay raise.
Ooh, lucky you. Or maybe Jim approached me to ask if I know if his wife is cheating on him or not.
Wow. All right. So that's how you would use this verb, approach someone. Now let's move on to the next word. So he was approached by members of the CIA and they were claiming something about his father.
That's right. So to claim.
Claim something.
To claim something.
All right. So basically, when you're claiming something, you are saying that it's true.
Right. It might not be true.
But we don't know.
Yeah. So for example, he claims he makes $4 million a year.
Okay. Or Bob claims that he saw a UFO. Mm-hmm. We can't prove it if it's true or not, but that's what they're saying is true.
Yep.
So Stephen's father disappeared and, well, he vowed to discover where he was.
So Stephen vowed to find his father.
Vow.
To vow.
So this verb to vow means to make a strong promise, right?
Yes.
And we use it also in marriage, right?
Wedding vows.
Wedding vows, which are basically promises. Mm-hmm. So if you vow something, you make a very strong promise.
Yes, it's very, very bad if you break a vow.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. What happens?
I don't know. Probably thunder strikes you and you die.
All right, so don't break your vows.
Yeah.
And the last word on language takeaway today, the whereabouts.
The whereabouts.
The whereabouts of his father.
Mm-hmm. So the whereabouts is the location.
The location.
Kind of unknown location, right?
Right. I think this is a great word for us to listen to some more examples.
Example 1.
The police don't have any information on the whereabouts of the murderer.
Example 2.
Currently, the whereabouts of the president are unknown.
Example 3.
You live in Toronto too? Whereabouts do you live?
All right, so whereabouts, perfect. You can use it for location, unknown location.
Mm-hmm. All right, so some great words. Now, I want to move on to some phrases that we heard in the dialogue, and let's look at those now in Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
All right, on Fluency Builder today, we have 4 great phrases, and let's start with the first one. What's going on?
So Veronica asks, what's going on?
Stephen, what's going on?
Basically, what's happening, right?
What's happening? What's the situation?
Yeah.
Now, another interesting thing is that among friends, you could use this phrase to say,
hey, how are you?
how are you? How's
Yeah.
it going, right?
Yeah.
So you can say, hey, Erica, what's going on?
And it all depends on your tone of voice. So when you want to know how that person is, hey, Marco, what's going on?
Right? But if you're angry or maybe something strange is happening, you're like, hey, what's going on here?
Yes, so your voice falls.
Right. Now let's take a look at our next phrase. And this one is very, very useful, especially if you've lied.
Yes, so Stephen says, I haven't been completely honest with you.
I haven't been completely honest with you.
I haven't been completely honest with you.
So that means he hasn't been telling the whole truth.
Right, pretty easy to understand, but I think its use is interesting here.
Right, you might use it to kind of soften up the person to confess something.
Right, so when you're ready to come clean about a secret you have or a lie you told, this is a great way to prepare your listener.
Right. You know what? I haven't been completely honest with you.
Yeah.
Moving on to our third phrase. So the CIA claimed that Stephen's father had made the discovery of the millennium.
The discovery of the millennium.
Discovery of the millennium.
Okay, let's break this down. Millennium.
Millennium is 1,000 years.
Right.
So the discovery of the millennium is
The best, most important discovery in the past 1,000 years.
right. So now we can change it a little bit and say the invention of the millennium.
Or even the party of the millennium.
Exactly. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the most important of the last 1,000 years.
But it means it was pretty good.
It was pretty good,
Yeah.
or very important.
Yeah. Hey, you can also say the discovery of the decade, right?
Of the decade, of the century,
Yep.
of the year.
Yep.
And now let's take a look at our last phrase. So Stephen confessed he came clean. He told her everything, but he said he wasn't supposed to fall in love with her.
I wasn't supposed to.
I wasn't supposed to fall in love with you.
All right, so let's look at this phrase, I wasn't supposed to. It's an interesting one. It's sort of like a cross between I didn't need to and I shouldn't have done.
Right. Now let's look at some examples. I wasn't supposed to come to work today.
All right, so you didn't need to.
It wasn't necessary.
All right, so maybe it was your annual vacation day, but you came into work anyway.
Or maybe it was a holiday
Yeah.
and I came to work anyways.
So the plan was not for you to come to work.
Right? So in this case, we're saying it wasn't necessary
Or it wasn't planned.
or planned.
Yep.
Now let's look at it the other way, when you shouldn't.
Okay. Marco, I wasn't supposed to tell you this, but...
Okay. So now in this case, you shouldn't be telling me this. You shouldn't tell me the secret.
Yep.
But you're going to anyways.
Yes. Off air.
So I wasn't supposed to. In this case, it means I shouldn't.
All right, some really great language here. Now, I think it would help us to hear it one more time in the dialogue.
Veronica? Veronica? Veronica, are you okay?
Stephen, what's going on? Who were those guys? I didn't know you have a gun. What's going on?
I will come clean as soon as we get to safety, okay? For now, you have to trust me. Please, I would never do anything to hurt you.
Stephen,
Okay, run! I haven't been completely honest with you, Veronica. I'm sorry. I'm not a fireman. I'm not even from the United States. I'm a spy for the Indian government.
What? Why didn't you tell me before? What are you doing here?
When I was a young boy, I used to play cricket with my father back in my hometown of Hyderabad. It was a peaceful town, and my father was a renowned chemist. One day, he was approached by members of the CIA, claiming that my father had made the discovery of the millennium in his small lab back at the university, where he taught biochemistry. I never saw him again. I vowed to discover the whereabouts of my father, and consequently joined the Indian Intelligence Bureau.
What does that have to do with those men shooting at us? And most importantly, why did you lie to me?
I'm sorry. I wasn't supposed to meet you. I wasn't supposed to fall in love with you. But you have to believe me when I tell you that what I feel for you is real.
I can't believe this. Why are all these things happening to me? I can't take it anymore. Let me out of the car.
Veronica, wait!
Okay, great. So now we're getting close to the end of this series. So what's going to happen? Maybe Veronica's also a spy.
Oh my God, I don't think I can handle that.
Love between a boy and a girl begins as an unassuming phenomenon nestled within the simple fact of human difference. Before any elaborate symbolism or ritual, love is an impulse. Two consciousnesses taking note of one another across the tangent line where childhood ends and a more charged curiosity sets in. Because the meeting occurs before either party fully understands the self, the experience functions as a mirror. A boy discovers his own interior landscape by perceiving the unique way the girl's presence alters that landscape, and vice versa. There is a certain electricity generated in that exchange, one simultaneously biological, heart rate, dopamine, cortisol, and ideological, because each has absorbed social narratives about what the opposite sex should represent. These competing realities create an intricate lattice, a raw surge of attraction straining against inherited scripts about what roles ought to be played. Yet love persists precisely because it refuses to be fully pinned down by those scripts. When the boy and the girl linger beyond initial recognition, when they choose to speak again after the first polite exchange, their attention becomes agency. Attention concentrates awareness. Through prolonged focus, each ceases to be an idealized category and evolves into a specific human being with textures that confound earlier stereotypes. The boy notices that the girl tucks her hair behind her ear when searching for words. The girl notices the boy measures silence before answering. These minute observations accumulate into what philosophy calls thick knowledge, understanding laced with empathy, capable of surviving collisions with reality. Love, in this formative context, is less about the grand declarations popularized by cinema and more about iterative discovery. It is the decision to return, conversation after conversation, to the partly mapped continent of another's interior, even when the terrain reveals unexpected roughness. That returning is an act of courage. Adolescence, particularly, is a landscape riddled with self-doubt. To stand before someone with blemishes, cracking voice, limited life experience, and still risk vulnerability requires a measure of audacity older adults often dismiss. The boy may believe his awkward gait or modest background disqualifies him. The girl may worry that her ambitions will appear unfeminine. Yet love invites them to test those fears against the steady fact of mutual regard. The process is inherently educational. Where formal schooling teaches algebraic proofs or grammatical structures, the curriculum of love instructs on negotiation, on timing, on reading micro-emotional cues. It obliges each participant to hold two truths simultaneously, that the self matters and that the other matters equally. Gradually, the dyad evolves from a chance pairing into a miniature society with its own lexicon. Inside jokes, half sentences, borrowed song lyrics become shorthand for layered ideas. This private language is not a trivial accessory. It is the architecture that houses shared memory. Whenever the boy and girl struggle over misread text messages, diverging friend groups, looming college separations, the archive of previous kindnesses and laughs works like an internal scaffolding. Neurologically, oxytocin and vasopressin facilitate bonding. But psychologically, the memory of moments in which each felt deeply seen furnishes the motivation to repair rather than retreat. Love, therefore, coaches conflict resolution not as the suppression of disagreement, but as disciplined curiosity about difference. The boy's instinct may be to withdraw when emotions spike, yet if he values the girl's continued trust, he must learn to articulate rather than vanish. The girl's instinct may be to solve the problem in a single marathon discussion, but if she learns that the boy processes slowly, she must practice patience. Such accommodations are not capitulations. They are acknowledgments that individual operating systems vary and that interoperability requires deliberate code switching. External pressures test the couple's adaptability. Families carry their own blueprints for acceptable gender behavior, educational ambition, religious affiliation. Friends may offer commentary laced with jealousy or protectiveness. Social media feeds, curated highlight reels of perfect dates and filtered selfies, can trigger corrosive comparisons. Against these stimuli, the couple must cultivate a boundary membrane permeable enough to let advice in yet firm enough to block corrosive skepticism. Success depends on collective intentionality, shared routines, rituals, and explicit conversations about expectations. A simple weekly check-in, how are we doing, what do you need, what do I need, models governance on a micro scale. When effective, it produces a relationship culture where transparency outranks assumption. When neglected, subtle resentments can calcify, mutating affection into obligation. Love is also inextricable from sexuality, though the timing and expression of that dimension vary across cultural and personal contexts. The transition from holding hands to more intimate touch is not merely a linear escalation, but a series of consent-laden dialogues, spoken and unspoken. Each yes or not marks an agreement about shared stewardship of safety and pleasure. At its healthiest, sexual exploration is collaborative, curious, and feedback-rich. The boy learns that desire flourishes under trust, not conquest. The girl learns that agency intensifies rather than dilutes romance. Together they discover that passion survives awkward moments better than secrecy. Mistakes, misread signals, fumbled technique, become laboratories for refinement when acknowledged openly. Silence, by contrast, converts small discomforts into large distances. Biochemistry naturally plateaus. The initial cascade of novelty hormones subsides, replaced by calmer attachment. Some misinterpret this transition as fading love, but in fact it is maturation from spark to ember. Embers radiate steady warmth capable of withstanding wind. Research indicates that long-term satisfaction correlates less with intense passion spikes and more with ratios of positive to negative interactions. Small daily affirmations: thank you for remembering my preference, I admire how you solved that problem, function as emotional deposits. Over time they compound like interest, buffering inevitable withdrawals caused by stress, illness, or misunderstanding. The existential dimension arises when adversity intrudes. Maybe the girl's parent becomes terminally ill. Maybe the boy faces depression. Love then serves as scaffold. It cannot erase pain, but it can redistribute weight. Holding vigil in hospital corridors, cooking soup when appetite disappears, attending therapy together. These acts reify vows in material form. Even youths unaccustomed to mortality-tooled vocabulary learn that love entails accompaniment through shadowed terrain. Should they emerge together, the solidarity forged in crisis becomes bedrock. Should the strain sever the bond, they may still look back recognizing that love carried them farther than solitude would have. Ambivalence occasionally surfaces. Attraction to others, boredom, what-if calculations. A robust relationship confronts these thoughts with honesty. Discussing fleeting crushes or waning excitement does not doom the partnership. Secrecy does. Transparency allows renegotiation. Injecting novelty, scheduling adventure, seeking counseling. Here the distinction between feeling and action matters. One cannot govern involuntary mental weather, but one chooses whether to transform passing clouds into storms. The ethical practice of love demands accountability for choices, not condemnation for spontaneous emotions. Technology mediates love in unprecedented ways. Text chains create constant connection yet risk eroding mystique. Social media displays curated affection yet invites surveillance. The boy and girl must invent etiquette. Phone-free dinners, boundaries around location sharing, mutual agreement about what aspects of their life remain offline. These agreements exemplify love as ongoing contract, flexible yet principled. Eventually, the relationship confronts long-term trajectory questions: cohabitation legality, marriage, parenthood. Each decision reconfigures identity algebra. Marriage, for instance, transforms the pronoun my into ours across property, taxes, health decisions. Parenthood broadens the circle of concern. Love no longer flows solely between 2 points but triangulates through infants who demand unconditionality. The boy becomes father, the girl becomes mother, and the gravitational center of intimacy shifts. Romantic space shrinks temporarily, but investment in collective future expands meaning. If they choose to remain child-free, they explore other joint legacies. Artistic endeavors, activism, mentorship. Whatever shape, the constant remains reciprocity, each investing in the flourishing of the other. As decades progress, novelty returns in unexpected ways. Aging bodies prompt new protocols for desire. Shared nostalgic references accumulate. Tragedies mourn together carve deeper channels for tenderness. Friends divorce or pass away, reminding the pair that durability is both fragile and precious. They may glimpse in the other's face a collage of younger selves layered beneath wrinkles, a palimpsest testament to seasons survived. Love becomes witness. To be consistently observed with kindness across time is to experience a form of existential validation inaccessible in solitary life. Eventually, one will watch the other's final breath, or they will perish together in some traffic accident. But until that moment, love remains a pledge renewed daily. I will treat your complexity as worthy of study. I will measure my freedom against our bond. I will let who you are revise who I am becoming. Such a pledge is not sentimental fluff. It is a rigorous discipline, as demanding as any academic or athletic pursuit. Colleges award degrees, marathons dispense medals, but love confers no certificate. Its progress reveals itself subtly. In easier laughter after disagreements, in reflexive coordination during household crises, in shared silence that feels companionable rather than strained. Thus, love between a boy and a girl is not a single phenomenon, but a continuum that begins with startled recognition and extends into the moral shaping of two lives. It is simultaneously personal and social, biological and cultural, transient in its hormonal surges yet enduring in its cultivated habits. If it thrives, it does so not on the sweet high of attraction alone, but on deliberate practices of curiosity, communication, flexibility, and mutual regard. In its healthiest expression, it enlarges each person's capacity for empathy beyond the dyad toward family, community, and even strangers, because knowing oneself beloved fosters conviction that benevolence is plausible. In its failures, it still offers instruction. Where boundaries cracked, where silence festered, where fear out-argued honesty. Either way, love remains one of the most intricate pedagogies available to human beings, using pleasure and pain, certainty and bewilderment, to teach what it means to honor another consciousness while learning to navigate one's own. With time, the relationship either deepens into durable partnership or dissolves. Even dissolution teaches. The heartbroken boy and the heartbroken girl carry forward an expanded understanding of their own resilience, their own non-negotiables. If the bond endures, new stages emerge. Choosing colleges in neighboring cities, sharing the first rental apartment, budgeting, planning futures that intertwine career trajectories with geographic realities. Each milestone imposes pragmatic demands. Splitting chores, aligning sleep schedules, deciding what level of digital privacy feels respectful rather than secretive. These logistical negotiations ground romance in tangible behavior. When the boy cleans the kitchen without prompting because the girl has finals tomorrow, he converts abstraction into action. When the girl decodes his quiet mood and initiates a walk instead of interrogating, she buffers the union against needless friction. Throughout, love challenges both to integrate individuality and unity. The risk of codependence, subsuming identity under the banner of us, looms, but so does the opposite risk. Maintaining walls so rigid that interdependence never sparks. Healthy balance requires periodic recalibration. Personal hobbies, separate friend groups, solo reflection time ensure that reciprocity remains voluntary rather than compulsory. At the same time, cooperative projects, joint travel planning, community volunteering, long-term financial goals, sustain shared vision. In essence, the boy and girl learn to alternate between I and we in grammatically elegant rhythm. Another dimension involves evolving gender expectations. The boy may notice that vulnerability clashes with traditional masculinity scripts. Tears, uncertainty, body image insecurities are deemed unmanly. The girl may internalize double standards about assertiveness. Love offers a subversive space to reauthor these scripts. When the boy weeps out of frustration and is met not with ridicule but with compassionate holding, he learns new masculinity parameters. When the girl voices ambition to lead a startup and is met with admiration rather than dismissal, she rewrites narratives about female aspiration. Together they enact a micro-revolution that ripples outward. Future friendships, workplaces, and eventually children, if they choose that path, absorb progressive norms by simple exposure.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word. Happening.
Go on.
Confess. Tell everything. Tell the truth.
Come clean.
Truthful and moral in behavior. Trustworthy.
Honest.
A person employed to find out secret information about other countries or organizations.
Spy.
Well known.
Renowned.
To assert as a fact.
Claim.
1,000 years.
Millennium.
Promised.
Vow.
The approximate place where a person or thing is.
Whereabouts.
Well known for some bad reason.
Notorious.
Done or acting in secret.
Undercover.
Federal Bureau of Investigation.
FBI.
An unimportant small lie.
White lie.
Tell false information to for fun.
Pull someone's leg.
Let's try that faster. An unimportant small lie.
White lie.
Well known.
Renowned.
1,000 years.
Millennium.
Well known for some bad reason.
Notorious.
Tell false information to for fun.
Pull someone's leg.
Truthful and moral in behavior. Trustworthy.
Honest.
Federal Bureau of Investigation.
FBI.
A person employed to find out secret information about other countries or organizations.
Spy.
The approximate place where a person or thing is.
Whereabouts.
Done or acting in secret.
Undercover.
Promised.
Vow.
To assert as a fact.
Claim.
Happening.
Go on.
Confess. Tell everything. Tell the truth.
Come clean.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Come clean. The murderer came clean and confessed everything to the police. Come clean. Carl's teacher caught him cheating on his exam, and so he had to come clean with the principal. Come clean. I decided to come clean with my parents and tell them that I quit school. Renowned. This is a restaurant renowned for its fine wine. They have over 200 wines from all over the world. Renowned. Stephen Hawking is a world-renowned physicist who has done extensive research on black holes. Renowned. I had dinner with a renowned photographer from the National Geographic. Claim. Carl, there's a boy outside claiming to be your son. Claim. The World Wildlife Federation claims there are less than 430 Siberian tigers left in the world. Claim. There is a drunk man outside the school claiming he is Santa Claus. Max wasn't supposed to know about his surprise birthday party. You ruined the surprise. I wasn't supposed to study architecture. I accidentally chose it on my registration form. You are not supposed to be here. Your classroom is down the hall. Doris is always complaining about her boyfriend. I can't take it anymore. Children, please be quiet. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. Tomorrow I'm going to quit my job.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this episode and gained some new insights. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss any future episodes. See you next time.